is wrong, it will cut your mark. It will get your mark down. So always try to avoid putting data into your answer unless and until you remember those data clearly. And I'm not saying you ki just go and learn all the economic survey, budget data, all the things are there. No, you are not supposed to cram up the things. So these are certain things which I wanted to share you about the subject. Okay. I just show you certain things. So beta, in economics there are different approach for prelims and mains. In the prelims, concept, logic and current based questions are asked. Concept, logic and current based questions are asked. Okay. And mains examination approach is pragmatic, practical in nature, ability to apply the economic concepts in the current economic scenarios. So the mains approach for this subject is somewhat different. तो यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा वो अलग हो जाता है. मेंस में आपको पता होना चाहिए क्योंकि इसका जो अप्रोच है वो प्रैग्मेटिक और प्रैक्टिकल इन नेचर है. सो यू मस्ट नो कि what are the key concepts and logics or current affair facts are there, and how can we apply them in the real life situation or real life problem. So connectivity and objectivity is very much required. ठीक है. This is question of the last year. Define potential GDP and explain its determinants. Last year पूछा था. Define the potential GDP and explain its determinants. What are the factors that have been inhibiting India from realizing its potential GDP? It was a question of 10 marks, 150 words. We had to write it. So, firstly, before going into the details, I just want to ask you about what is potential GDP. If you know this, you can answer in the comment section. I'm asking to everybody, what do you mean by potential GDP? What is potential GDP? What is potential GDP? Can anybody answer it? I'm asking to everybody. आज मैं आपको कुछ पढ़ा नहीं रहा हूँ, सिर्फ बता रहा हूँ हाउ टू अप्रोच इंडियन इकोनॉमी मॉड्यूल. What is potential GDP, dear? Max GDP that can be produced in an economy. Abhishek, highest GDP that can be attained when every sector works to its fullest. Okay, potential GDP is what economy has the capacity to achieve with given resources. अगर मैं आपको partial correct कहूँ तो आप बुरा तो नहीं मानोगे? Dear, no doubt. Actually, in economics, we just need to focus on the name, and each and every name in the economics, each and every terminology in the economics is self-explanatory in nature. So merely by seeing the potential GDP, a thing came in your mind that what an economy can produce to its fullest. फुल स्पीड में गाड़ी चलेगी तो कितना दूर कितने स्पीड पर चलेगी, तो उसकी बात आपने सोच ली. नो बेटा, it is not completely right. What can be the right answer? It is sustainable GDP that an economy can sustain in a long period of a time working at a full employment level. Sustainable GDP. Fullest GDP का क्या मतलब हुआ? For example, sometimes there might be certain circumstances in which your GDP could get like 15% growth rate, but that is not sustainable. क्योंकि वो कुछ चीजें एक बार आपका तुक्का लग गया और 15% पे आपकी GDP आ गई नहीं. So you must know what is the potential GDP. Like for example, 10% हमारी potential है, which we can sustain in a long period of a time working on a full employment level. और जब भी इसके ऊपर आपका जाता है, that means कि aggregate demand अगर इसके ऊपर जाती है, it creates a inflationary gap. और जब भी aggregate demand इसके नीचे होती है, mean to say suppose this is your potential, and if the aggregate demand goes above it, it creates inflationary gap, and goes below it create deflationary gap. ठीक है. सो आपको ये पता होना चाहिए, तब आप इसको डिलीवर कर पाओगे. तो पहला चीज क्या, कॉन्सेप्ट एंड डेफिनेशन ऑफ द पोटेंशियल जीडीपी वाज टू बी रिटन इन द आंसर. नेक्स्ट थिंग इज व्हाट, second part of the question is asking you about explain its determinants. So what are the determinants of the potential GDP? What are the determinants of the potential GDP? Labor है, capital है, क्या है? what are determinants of the potential GDP, investment है, तमाम चीज़ों के determinants है which decide what could be the potential GDP of a country. And third part is what are the factors that have been inhibiting India from realizing its potential GDP, mean to say what are the factors which are preventing India to achieve its potential. This was the question. So this question was taken out of the article which came in the January. Like in this year January, the article came like India is having K-shaped recovery. There was a report. Last year a question was asked from the shapes of recovery like V-shaped recovery. I have put certain questions from the national income because in the 2 and 3 years it has been seen that certain questions are asked from the national income topic. So this was a topic, this was a question like that. Okay, so we need to elaborate the things in listing the things like what are the factors which are restraining or refraining India to achieve its potential, and what can be the way forward, what can be the possible solution. Dear, in many questions we just have a by default mindset ki we should always write a conclusion, but beta it depends on the question whether we should write conclusion or way forward. ठीक है, whether to write conclusion or way forward वो हमें decide करना है, क्वेश्चन के अकॉर्डिंग डिसाइड करना है. So in this question way forward was asked. ठीक है, it was a hidden in the question but it was asked. Next is what, it is a last year question. Explain the difference between computing methodology of India's gross domestic product GDP before the year 2015 and after the year 2015. Dear, you must be knowing about the India has adopted United Nations, 1 minute, United Nations System of National Accounts 2008. Basically this is the format which India adopted in 2015. ठीक है, so it was a, you can say comparison वाला question था. ठीक है, it was a question of comparison in which you were asked before 2015 what were the things, how we were calculating the national income, and after 2015 what the key changes has been made to the calculation of national income. So this was a simple question asked in your examination and it was quite surprising can UPSC can ask such a simple question from you also. ठीक है, it is no doubt it is a, you can say the changes were made in 2015 but ठीक है, जब से ये changes किए गए हैं the thing has always been in news. So you can say this is a, this can be a past or the contemporary issue even as well, right? तो इसके बारे में आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा तो हम बहुत सारी चीजें खुद से प्रेडिक्ट कर सकते हैं किस पोर्शन से क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं और किस टाइप के क्वेश्चन बन सकते हैं. 2019-20 economic survey there was a chapter which was stating that कि is India's GDP overstated. उसके लिए प्रॉपरली उन्होंने वो बताया था सारी चीजें कि हम नहीं कर रहे हैं. फिर हमने क्या किया था कि इन 2015 वी स्विच टू द जीवी एट बेसिक प्राइसेस. अगेन 2018 फिर से हम जीडीपी एट मार्केट प्राइसेस वी स्टार्टेड शोइंग दैट आल्सो. तो चेंजेस करने के बाद फिर क्यों आ गए? व्हाई इट इज सेड दैट कि जीवी एट बेसिक प्राइसेस इज बेटर टूल टू मेजर countries you can say production capacity rather than GDP. What is, why GDP is considered as a widely used instrument across the world? Does GDP reflect welfare of the society or not? Number of things which over which you can think. तो पहली चीज की आपको बेसिक्स पता होने चाहिए. हर चीज के बेसिक्स पता होंगे तो आपको उससे रिलेटेड प्लस एंड माइनस पता होंगे और आप अपनी चीजों को कोरिलेट और इंटरलिंक इस सब्जेक्ट में कर पाओगे. ठीक है. थर्ड क्वेश्चन, लेट्स सी द थर्ड क्वेश्चन. सिमिलरली द थर्ड क्वेश्चन वाज आस्क्ड, do you agree that Indian economy has recently experienced a V-shaped recovery? Give reasons in support to your answer. So shapes of economic recovery was there. ठीक है. I just share you something. Unless and until you know the shapes of economic recovery, even what is recovery, ठीक है. For example, I'm just drawing a diagram. इधर कर देता हूँ. Suppose this is a 0 point, ऊपर positive, नीचे negative, and on this vertical axis I am taking economic growth rate. Economic growth rate. And on this horizontal axis we take time. we take time. ठीक है. When there is a rising in the economic growth rate, it goes like this and then again नीचे की तरफ आती है, then here again it starts rising. When there is a sharp increase in your GDP or what is economic growth rate? Firstly, what? Percentage change in real GDP. Percentage change in real GDP is what? Economic growth rate, reflected by economic growth rate in India. ठीक है. तो यहां पर क्या है कि जब ये ऊपर की तरफ जाती है, इट इज नोन एज एक्सपेंशनरी फेज, and when it comes down it is known as contractionary phase. Contractionary phase, right? In the expansionary phase we have two situations, like you can say recovery. ठीक है. In the expansionary phase we can have two situations like recovery or getting out of the recession, or contractionary phase is known as recovery, or when it is at the maximum is known as boom or peak. The topmost bottom point is known as turf. ठीक है. So beta, when there is a contractionary phase there might be situation of slowdown, ठीक है, recession and depression as well. Slowdown, recession and depression as well. So यहाँ पर क्या करना है? You need to correlate the things, right? Here you are being asked about what is economic recovery. So beta, when there is a contractionary phase there can be two situations. For example, in 2018 in India we have seen a situation of slowdown and the post COVID, and during the COVID, or you can say post COVID environment was like recession, and a severe form of recession is what? Depression in the economy. Mean to say slowdown is somewhat different from recession, because in the slowdown your economic growth rate falls. For example, somewhere you are progressing about 10%, now something happened and you came down to the 8%, then 7%, 5%, 4% or 2%. Mean to say your speed of going up, ठीक है, reduced, वो कम हो गई है. ठीक है, योर स्पीड ऑफ गोइंग अप रिड्यूस्ड, लाइक दैट. तो यहाँ पर आपकी बढ़ने की स्पीड कम हो गई, स्टिल देयर इज अ ग्रोथ, द सिचुएशन इज इन पॉजिटिव टर्म्स. But when it comes to the negative terms, mean to say when there is a negative growth rate in the economy, the thing is known as recession, because the growth rate becomes negative. Recession is a situation, actually you can call it fall in real GDP. Fall in real GDP. Earlier what you were able to produce, now you are not able to produce that much of that much quantity of goods and services. Means to fall in real GDP is known as recession for 2 consecutive quarters. This was a very simple thing. ठीक है. So when there is a contractionary phase in the economy, government and RBI tries to give stimulus, because in recession we have running short of funds, we don't have the enough purchasing power, due to which we are just we just avoid to purchase goods and services. And when we do not purchase goods and services, the producer will not make goods and services even, and all the companies and all the you can say producing units in the economy shut down. ठीक है, बंद हो जाती हैं या बंद हो जाएंगी, ऐसा कह लो. जिसके नाते there is a rising rate of unemployment in your country. So to curb the menace caused by the contractionary phase, government and RBI tries to infuse some liquidity into the system, what you call stimulus. ठीक है. After getting stimulus, the economy start getting back to the normal situation, what you known as the period of recovery. So there was thing known as stimulus, what you call economic stimulus. Beta, under economic stimulus, for example, you are very much tired and you come to your home and your mom is giving you some drinks, or you can say some energy drinks like that, so that आप energize feel करो और फिर आप आगे काम कर सको, like that. So mom and dad of economy is government of India and Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is mother of the economy and government of India is the father of the economy. What the responsibilities are supposed of our mom and dad at our home? the same responsibility performed by the RBI and the government of India in the country. So in the economic stimulus, ठीक है, let's see, it can be of two types. Stimulus means increasing liquidity into the system, push the economy so that economy could get recovered from the phase of recession. So in this case, there can be two situations: fiscal stimulus given by government and monetary stimulus given by RBI. Monetary stimulus. So beta, in the fiscal stimulus, okay, it was a question of PT in the last year examination. Under the fiscal stimulus, what does government do? Government reduces tax rate. Okay, yeah, tax rates are reduced, you can say, and increases government increases its expenditure. अगर टैक्स रेट कम करेंगे तो आपके हाथ में ज्यादा पैसा बचेगा, आप ज्यादा खर्च करोगे, यानी परचेजिंग पावर अल्टीमेटली बढ़ जाएगी, मीन इट विल इंक्रीज द लिक्विडिटी इनटू द सिस्टम. ऑल्सो इंक्रीजिंग द गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर विल ऑल्सो इंक्रीज द, यू कैन से, इकोनॉमी में लिक्विडिटी को वो बढ़ा देगा एंड इट विल क्रिएट द एग्रीगेट डिमांड इन द इकोनॉमी. ठीक है. From the monetary point of view, there is a monetary stimulus also, means to say reduction in interest rates. Reduction in interest rates. So this is the case. By reducing the interest rates, the RBI pushed the economy so that purchasing power could get increased in the hands of people, and they start purchasing of goods and services. So many things in the name of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan package, Self-Reliant India Mission package 1, 2, 3, giving moratorium to you, reducing the repo rate. Many things were there which can be considered as stimulus to the economy. And after getting stimulus, Shilpi, Priya, for what you are saying thank you? I couldn't get your point. After getting stimulus, okay, that's all right. After getting stimulus, an economy show recovery, and beta, whenever economy show a recovery means getting back to the normalcy. Getting back to the normalcy after showing the recovery, matlab getting back to the normalcy, it has certain speed, and direction. It has certain speed and direction. Beta, the speed and direction logic is what you must have gone through a, you can say, chapter in the physics, like time speed distance, TDS. So what is the formula of speed, distance upon time? ठीक है, how quickly you covers a distance in a particular period of a time defines your speed, right? So the same thing happens here. Whenever there is an economic recovery, there is a speed and direction of the recovery which gives you a resemblance of English alphabets. ठीक है. It gives you a merely resemblance. It doesn't form a perfect shape. It gives you merely a resemblance, like you can say V-shape recovery, ठीक है, Z-shape recovery, V-shape recovery, swash, W, ठीक है. You can say U-shape recovery can also be there, L-shape recovery, J-shape recovery, and so on. Right now in January, news came that India might be having a K-shape recovery. But in the last year, why did we report a V-shaped recovery in the Indian economy? It was said in the government document too that we were having the V-shaped recovery. Keep it very much clear. India's real GDP was before, pre-COVID period was 145 lakh crore. ठीक है, 145 lakh crore. I'm just using the word lakh crore. It was in lakh crore, lakh CR. Okay. I'm telling you about the real GDP. Real GDP of India was 145 and went down to 134 in 2020 period. Again, what the year we have completed right now, 2021 and 2022, it went to 148 lakh crore. Mean to say, after declining, after reporting a sharp decline, your economy has registered a strong recovery too, which means India were having V-shaped economic recovery. So whenever your economy gets down, and whenever government gives a stimulus or package to the economy, it starts recovering to the wellness. And due to the speed and direction of the recovery, it gives you a resemblance of a English alphabet, what you call shapes of economic recovery. So this was a question asked from you: what are the determinants of the economic recovery, why we are having the V-shaped recovery? Give reasons in you in the support of your answer, like that. So what the steps taken by the government, what are the things, what were the things, what were the indicators? Okay, if you mention that, that will make your answer complete. So firstly, know the logic and know the things. Everything will be easy for you in this subject, because it's my belief this subject only relies on three fundamental pillars: concept, logic and opinion. आई होप कि यहाँ तक अपनी बातें मैं आपको समझा पाया हूँगा. ठीक है. I'm not going to make you do questions and deliver you you can say lectures today, because I have kept this session for the orientation, just to make you feel comfortable towards the class and towards the subject. That's why I just kept this class. बेटा यहाँ तक चीज़ें क्लियर है तो एक बार मेरे को आप डन कर दो, ताकि मैं इसके बाद एक छोटा सा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आपसे शेयर कर सकूं. If the things are clear to everybody, whatever we have discussed so far, just make me sure, so that I could discuss something more about. A small topic is there only. Thank you, Ashneet and everybody. Just to simplify the subject, ठीक है? From the mains point of view, just इस पर आप ध्यान दोगे. Economic indicators. I'm just sharing you how you can build your mind map. Economic indicators. There are many indicators. For example, there is a factors of production. Factors of production can be like land, natural resources, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. ठीक है. Some socio-economic indicators are also there, which shows poverty, unemployment, empowerment. ठीक है. Investment. So investment can also be of two types: financial and non-financial. Financial investment means investing in the share debenture bonds, like that. So certain investments are non-financial in nature. Investment in the fiscal assets, like non-financial nature, can be there. ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू कैन से, तो आप कुछ इंडिकेटर्स खुद से बना सकते हो. जो भी आप पढ़ते हो, इट इज जस्ट लाइक इंडिकेटर्स. जैसे अभी मैं बात करूं कैपिटल की, ठीक है. So if I talk about this capital, this is a very basic thing, and this capital, you can relate so many things, like problem of NPA in India. Businesses को पैसा नहीं मिल रहा, problem of NPA in India. New concept of bad banks. Privatization of public sector banks. ठीक है. And so on. You can relate these all things from this point of view, capital. Right? दूसरा क्या है, जैसे लेबर्स की बात कर लें. So there are certain things like skill development programs promoted by government of India, ताकि इनकी प्रोडक्टिविटी को हम बढ़ा सकें. ठीक है. there are many there are many, you can say, problems related to the labor in India. उनकी wages की बात करें, because we belong to mostly to the informal India has a very big informal sector, or you can say unorganized sector. ठीक है. एंड जैसे कि एक पॉइंट था आपका कि what shape of recovery we are having, either it is a V shape or K shape. V shape or K shape. In the Indian context, it is said that India was having V shape recovery because you know that there is a big sector is unorganized sector. ठीक है. अब जीडीपी में क्या है कि हम ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर को ही ये डेटा हम ले पाते हैं, अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर का हम ले नहीं पाते. सबसे पहली बात ये है. दूसरा पॉइंट क्या है कि अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर जो होता है जितना जल्दी गिरता है उतना जल्दी उठता है. फॉर एग्जांपल, you see that ki there are some street vendors in your colony, in your locality. They sell food items and some street products, kuch bhi keh lo. So during the lockdown they got unemployed, and when the economy was opening up, they start getting employment, their income level were rising. ठीक है. They start getting jobs, even you can say. So Indian economy declined key, but in a short period of a time it start increasing again. So India reported a V-shaped recovery. So biggest contribution of in the V-shaped recovery, you can say, was contribution of unorganized sector. Second thing is what, there are certain sectors in the Indian economy, for example, large corporates, large corporates. For example, you can say online platforms, like they reported a good recovery after the COVID shock. But certain sectors like MSME sectors, service sector, like where the contact, there are two kinds of services, contact based and non contact based. So contact based services belong to the hotel, tourism, ठीक है, एटसेट्रा. इस तरीके की जो भी चीजें होती हैं, दे रिक्वायर्स ह्यूमन कॉन्टैक्ट, एंड दैट्स वाई दीज सेक्टर्स कुड नॉट गेट रिकवर्ड एज मच एज like the non-context based services. So service sector no doubt reported a recovery, but not all the industries. For example, hotel and tourism industries are still struggling. So that's why on the basis of this, it has been said that India's might be having a K-shaped recovery instead of V-shaped recovery. तो कॉन्सेप्ट्स को थोड़ा सा बिल्डअप करेंगे, थोड़ा सा आप इकोनॉमिक सर्वे वगैरह से रिलेट करोगे, और जितने भी सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इंडिकेटर्स है उनसे रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम्स को खोजने की कोशिश करोगे, तो यू कैन से दैट इन द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ लेबर यू कैन ऑल्सो add on this unorganized sector. Problem of unorganized sector can also be there. ठीक है. तो सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इंडिकेटर्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ही आपको सोचना है क्या उसमें प्रॉब्लम्स है, क्या उसके पॉसिबल सॉल्यूशंस हो सकते हैं, एंड इन दिस वे यू कैन मेक योर ओन माइंड मैप विच हेल्प्स यू अ लॉट इन द एग्जामिनेशन, वेदर इट इज अ पीटी और मेंस. ठीक है. एंड आई विश कि आप सभी इस साल एग्जाम जो भी देने जा रहे हो, आई विश कि मैं आपकी इतनी हेल्प कर पाऊँ या इतनी चीज़ें आपको बता पाऊँ, सो दैट आपके लिए एग्ज़ाम थोड़ा सा इजी हो जाए, थोड़ा सा मेरा गाइडेंस आपको मिल सके, और जिससे कि आप जो आगे सोचकर प्लान करके चल रहे हो, वेदर फॉर दिस ईयर, फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर, सो दैट योर जर्नी कुड, you can say, you have a safe journey and you have a happy journey even. Thank you so much everybody here. Thanks for being in the class. I have kept the session for 1.5 hours. It was just an orientation session. From tomorrow onwards, we will discuss certain points and certain questions also. In every class, I will give you certain questions. ठीक है, I will explain the model of the questions, as well as it is up to you to write the question. I will leave it to you, and I will also provide some model answers to you also. You just all need to match your answers, right? If you secure 70 to 80%, ठीक है, just match the answer to the model answer, match your written answer to the model answer, and if you secure that 70 to 80% things are correct, then you are on the right path. Otherwise, you just need to do some more hard work, put some more effort. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with me. Love you all, guys. We'll meet soon again. Abhishek, thank you so much. Shrikara, Govind, thank you so much, dear. We'll meet soon.